Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. Alright, so I want to give you guys an update on a situation that I had recently, like a couple days ago, and it's going to be a quick fix if you guys have this situation yourselves. And if you guys are watching this video, I am sure that you guys are probably just worried out of your minds about why your car has absolutely no power whatsoever. So the situation with me was I was at Walmart buying something. My car worked fine for the time that I drove it that day. I parked it, and then I got in. No, wait, I parked it, went to Walmart, spent some time there, came out with stuff that I bought, and I tried to use the remote. Nothing. And I got closer, tried to use the remote, nothing. Got closer to the door, tried to use the remote, nothing. It was just like nothing. So I thought maybe there was a problem with the remote. I opened the door up, got in, didn't hear any of the usual sounds. Try to start it, and guess what, guys? I had nothing. It was like nothing on the dash, no sounds. It was completely dead, like completely dead. I've had this situation before. Like when my battery just went completely dead, because like everybody else, if you leave your headlights on, obviously by mistake or whatever, overnight your battery's completely drained and you get no power in the battery at all. And this situation was just like that situation. So I assumed that it was the battery, because I haven't changed the battery on this vehicle. I bought it like that. So I was thinking, well, I'm at Walmart, not a problem, probably not a big issue, you know, I'll probably just go and change the battery. But before I did that, I actually had to make sure that it was the battery that was dead. It seems just like it, because there was no electricity at all. So I was looking at the battery and just trying to figure out whether I saw anything that was noticeable, that was different. And I did notice that the terminals were a bit loose. I could actually turn it. And I actually did turn it, came back in my car and tried to start it, wiggled it, both of them, the positive and negative, tried to start it, and still had the same issue where it just had no power whatsoever. So I was thinking, they're a bit dirty, right? So I had some Coke that I bought, and I had some paper towels. I poured a little bit of Coke on the terminals and on the cables, and I cleaned up the positive and negative. I cleaned them up, as best as I could, put the cables on. I was hoping maybe it'll start to work, and try to start it, and got absolutely nothing. Same situation, got absolutely nothing. So, and I also noticed that there's no spark when I put the cables back on. Normally you'd see a spark just because that's normally how electricity works when you put it on a power supply. So I was thinking to myself, not a problem, you know, battery is kind of old. I probably need to be changing it anyway. So I went back to Walmart. I bought a battery. Cost me about I'd say like $70 or something like that. Came out, it's ready to go home. Just pop it in, ready to go home. So I took the old battery out, put the new battery in, and put the cables back on. But I noticed there was no spark when I put the cables back on. But regardless, just to make a long story short, I put the cables on the battery, and still didn't hear any kind of, any kind of noises or sounds or chimes or ring or anything like that. So I was like, all right, let me just try to turn it on, and still got nothing whatsoever. So at that point, I was scratching my head. I was like, all right, so there's a new battery. There is a chance that this battery could be bad, or just probably didn't have enough power to crank it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it was a brand new battery. The date on the little sticker says, it was made this year in 2023, 2023. So I was like thinking to myself, okay, so, so I'm at Walmart, and I'm like, I gotta test out the battery. So I went back, and I got a voltmeter. And I tested out the battery, and the battery, both of them were like 12.6. The new one, the old one, 12.6. So I got two good batteries. As far as I can tell, I have two good batteries, but apparently there's a problem with an electrical disconnect somewhere where it just won't crank the car up. Not won't crank the car up, but it gets no power. Disconnect somewhere. Excuse me. So I was thinking to myself, all right, so let me see if I can find the problem here where it's probably disconnected somewhere. And I was thinking to myself, maybe it's the negative cable, because if a lot of times what happens is the negative cable, for whatever reason, if you have an older car, the negative cable, sometimes it gets the wires, for whatever reason, comes off the plastic covering, and for whatever reason it sometimes they break off for whatever reason, particularly if it's like ridiculously rusty or whatever. But I've seen those situations. Oddly enough, I've seen those situations. So I looked at the negative cable just to follow it around to the frame, and I yanked on it a little bit just to make sure that it was solidly connected to the frame, that it wasn't loose or anything like that. And it was solidly connected to the frame. So because of that, okay, I'm just eliminating the negative cable. And I was thinking to myself, let's look at the fuse box. Maybe the fuse or relay, possibly a fuse. I don't think it's a relay, a main relay. Well, maybe there is a main relay for the whole entire vehicle where the battery connects to the fuse box. But I was looking at the fuse box, mostly with the fuses. And I was looking at the fuses, and I was thinking to myself, where is there a burnt fuse? And I didn't see a burnt fuse at all. I didn't see a burnt fuse. I didn't see, I didn't smell anything. There was nothing that looked outside of the ordinary. So I was thinking about going back to get a fuse tester at Walmart. And good thing that I'm at a place where I can get all this stuff. But I was thinking to myself, probably not, because it didn't look like there's anything wrong with any of the fuses. Now, I can't be 100% sure, probably like 99% sure there was nothing wrong with the fuses. And I was like, what else could be the problem? And then I was looking at the terminals, and then it dawned on me that there was a big block of the deposit terminal had a huge block on it. Like, it's a huge it's a block. And I'm looking at the plastic windows to these little connections, and I noticed that one of them actually looked like they were burnt. And then I actually took a screwdriver and I took the window off, the little opening off, the plastic window. I took the little mini plastic window off, and I noticed that there was a disconnect. It was burnt out, and then there was a disconnect. So it occurred to me that this whole entire situation probably could have been a result of this fusible link that's probably causing all the problems. So I actually took a screwdriver and I actually popped the screwdriver into to make that connection where it was broken off. And then once I did it, I actually heard noises. I heard like sounds coming. I heard sounds. So at that point, I knew that it was the fusible link that was the problem. So, so here's what I did actually. Funny enough, I had, I was looking for something that could actually connect, that I could stabilize into that link so that I could actually try the AutoZone to get it, because the nearest AutoZone was a couple miles away. I didn't want to walk. But instead of doing that, I was like, you know what? I'll just call Uber. I'll just get a Uber. And that's what I did. I actually got a Uber. Got to that AutoZone. Unfortunately, I didn't call them first. I didn't call them first to ask them whether they had the fusible link, and I didn't have that. So unfortunately, I had to go to, you know, at that point, obviously, I was calling other places to see whether they had it in stock. And there was another AutoZone that had it in stock. Obviously, I had to Uber to there. I got it back, and I took a wrench, took the old one off, put the new one on, and once I connected it, and then once I actually put the fusible link, the connection onto the battery, I started hearing sounds. It sounded like normal. And anyway, long story short, after that's done, I was able to turn the car on. It works fine. It's worked fine, and it was a pretty easy fix. I actually ended up keeping the Walmart battery because the car actually needed a new battery anyway. The old one was a couple years old, even though it read good. Got a 5. I know. I went back into Walmart. I think they had like a $5. They give you like a $5 credit for the battery and something like that. But anyway, just to make this long story short, it's I got that fixed, and that was the fix for it. And if you guys are in this situation where you guys are getting no power whatsoever, and you guys go through all the steps trying to figure out what the problem is, and you know, and you guys still couldn't figure it out, it's probably your fusible link. You guys should probably like change it. If you guys have any of your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. You know, definitely subscribe, and you know, give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff, right guys? Take care.